What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. And this one we have Goodbye, America. Why Japan canceled U.S. visit for India. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Before we dive in and figure this out, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button to receive your exclusive benefits. We've got to dive in immediately.
Japan, the world's third largest economy, abruptly canceled a major trade delegation visit to the United States. This was no minor postponement. It was a last-minute snub that exposed the cracks in Washington's trade strategy. The cancellation came against the backdrop of a bigger drama. India itself was already standing firm against U.S. tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. For India, these tariffs were not just about percentages and duties. They symbolized a larger question. Could major economies still be coerced into submission by unilateral pressure? And now Japan, too, had joined the silent rebellion. Tokyo, frustrated by what it described as administrative deadlocks and Washington's unwillingness to compromise, decided to push back. The message was clear. The world's fourth and fifth largest economies were not willing to be singled out and strong-armed. Suspense gave way to conflict. Trump's trade war was rattling the global economy, while China, the largest buyer of Russian oil, was quietly given an extension of 90 days. Others, like India and Japan, were forced to bear the brunt of excessive levies. This unequal treatment ignited frustration, not just in New Delhi and Tokyo, but across capitals watching from afar.
I don't understand him. I don't understand the decisions being made. I try, but I don't get it. It's like you're just trying to extort money from all these countries. Like you are trying to squeeze them for their resources, for money, um uh, for your friendship in a sense. But it's threatening. You're not doing it out of pay. What can I do for you? Like, how can we figure out a negotiated deal that benefits the both of us? It's do what I say, or we're gonna punish you. I'm just not understanding.
Even voices within America expressed concern.
Yeah.
Democrats criticized the administration for targeting India disproportionately.
But I'll tell you right now, Democrats are going to criticize anything he does. I'm not with him at all. Don't like the president. But I'll tell you, and I don't claim to be Democrat or Republican. And that's why I'll tell you right now, no matter what he does, it will be criticized. Right or wrong, and there's a lot of wrong in my opinion, they're going to criticize it. But if the Democratic president was in the White House, it'd be the same situation. They'd be criticized for everything, right or wrong. But let's keep it going.
And when White House trade advisor Peter Navarro bizarrely attempted to link India to the war in Ukraine, it revealed just how distorted the debate had become. But even in the middle of this tug of war, something far more powerful was taking shape. A wider perspective was emerging, one that stretched well beyond tariffs and trade barriers. Because while Washington appeared unreliable, Tokyo appeared ready, and India, rather than being isolated, found itself at the center of new partnerships. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Tokyo, the symbolism was striking. The Tokyo sky tree lit up in saffron, white and green, the colors of the Indian flag. The chants of the Gayatri mantra echoed in hotel lobbies. The Indian diaspora, small but deeply rooted in Japan, gathered with tricolor scarves and traditional songs. It was more than a diplomatic visit. It was a reminder that India's presence was not only welcomed, but celebrated. This was Modi's first bilateral visit to Japan in nearly 7 years, and it came at a critical moment. Hours before his plane touched down, Japan's top trade negotiator had canceled his American trip. Coincidence? Perhaps. But in diplomacy, timing is rarely accidental. In Tokyo, the headlines wrote themselves. At the India-Japan Economic Forum, Prime Minister Modi reminded business leaders that India was no longer a rising story. It was already an engine of global growth. The world is not just watching India, he said. It is counting on India.
I'm telling you, bro, Modi That leader, right? India, y'all have definitely been blessed with such a freaking incredible leader. Y'all, Modi's awesome. Modi is freaking awesome, bro. The way he speaks, the actions that he takes, the decisions that he makes. When you look, decisions are hard in real time, right? Because you can easily make the wrong one. But in hindsight, it's just like more of his decisions have been right than wrong since I've been reacting.
The day unfolded with announcements that went far beyond symbolic gestures. Japan committed to investing 10 trillion yen, around 68 billion US dollars in India over the next decade. The areas chosen were not traditional, low-hanging fruit. They were bold, futuristic, and transformative. There would be a digital partnership, a joint effort in artificial intelligence and digital public infrastructure. A space collaboration, ISRO and Japan's space agency teaming up for Chandrayaan-5, a lunar polar mission that would take both nations to new frontiers. And a semiconductor alliance, because in today's world, chips are not just microcircuits, they are sovereignty. The partnerships did not stop there. The two nations announced cooperation in rare earth minerals, in green energy, in nuclear power, and in building next-generation infrastructure. For Japan, with its unmatched technological expertise but shrinking workforce, India's scale and talent are the missing pieces. For India, Japan's science and capital are a golden ticket to accelerate its own ambitions.
Dang.
Perhaps the most ambitious target, however, was not about money or machines, but about people.
Hmm.
500,000 exchanges between India and Japan in the coming years. 50,000 Indian workers in Japan's aging economy.
Oh,
Students, entrepreneurs, cultural ambassadors, all
dang.
forming a living bridge between the two
Yeah,
nations. This is where suspense and conflict gave way to vision.
dang. That's smart. Great freaking move to make that deal with India. That's it. I feel like if you're a betting man, that's a great bet to place. Um, right now, the U.S. is unreliable, and I want more countries. Right, I want all of our partnerships with countries to remain. Whether things have to be tweaked, deals have to be negotiated in a sense, I can understand that. But just destroying bridges, that's hard. Or treating allies like enemies, or treating enemies better than allies. I don't
Because when
know.
Prime Minister Modi met his Japanese counterpart Shigeru Ishiba, their conversation was not about short-term disputes. It was about long-term strategy, democracy,
I would
global
imagine.
stability, and the Indo-Pacific order. The Indian leader put it simply, India and Japan will shape the Asian century. The joint vision is already sketched out, a 10-year roadmap of cooperation that will touch infrastructure, green energy, digital innovation, and security. And this roadmap does not end in Tokyo. From Japan, Modi would fly to China for his first visit there in 7 years to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. In Beijing, the questions would be different, the challenges more complex, but the message would remain the same. India's policy of multi-alignment is not weakness. It is strategy. Because in a turbulent world, India is not choosing sides. It is choosing principles, partnerships, not dependence,
Ooh.
cooperation, not coercion, growth,
Ooh.
not isolation. Behind these diplomatic
Yes,
moves lies
man.
a deeper transformation. India's economy today is defined by stability, predictability, and ambition. Over the past 11 years, reforms have changed the face of governance. One nation, one tax streamlined the system. A simplified income tax code was introduced. 45,000 compliances were rationalized. Sensitive sectors like defense, space, and now nuclear energy were open to private participation. The results are visible. India contributes 18% of global growth. Its capital markets are strong. Inflation and interest rates remain stable. Foreign exchange reserves hover near $700 billion. And for the first time in 2 decades, S&P Global upgraded India's credit rating. For Japan, these numbers are not just statistics, they are an invitation.
Yeah,
Japanese companies have already invested more than $40 billion in India, with $13 billion in just the last 2 years.
yeah.
Survey
It's these. when you hear those numbers about India, bro, it has to Japan for sure is going to see that bigger vision of seeing that progression and seeing how that graph is trending. That India is a good bet. That to invest even more into India, and that's what they look like they're going to do over the next 10 years. And India is going to hold up their end of the deal that benefits Japan, sending those workers into the Japanese economy, help that aging economy. So it sounds like this deal, the deal they make with each other, is definitely going to mutually benefit each other right now, and they're gonna and if the U.S. continues to be an unreliable partner or a volatile partner, then you can see these countries just kind of cutting them out and in terms of trade and just trying to figure out other deals to make. As you can see, a deal was canceled to come to the U.S. or a trip to the U.S. was canceled already. And that was right when the prime minister of India
Show that
came.
80% of Japanese companies want to expand in India, and 75% are already profitable.
God
In
damn.
India, capital does not just grow, it multiplies. This is why Prime Minister Modi urged his audience in Tokyo, don't just make in India, make for the world. He
Mm,
pointed to the success stories of Suzuki and Daikin and asked, why can't many more companies repeat that story? He outlined 5 pillars for partnership: manufacturing, technology, green energy, infrastructure, and skill development. Each of them not only strengthens India and Japan, but also contributes to the global south, especially Africa, where both nations can be partners in progress. As the visit drew to a close, the mood was unmistakable. This was not just another round of trade talks, it was a declaration that in the 21st century, India and Japan will not be passive spectators to someone else's rules.
mm-mm.
They will be architects of their own future. The
Preach it.
suspense of tariffs and trade wars may have sparked the story. The conflict with Washington may have amplified it, but the wider perspective reveals something larger: an India that refuses to be cornered and instead builds new coalitions. And the
Mm,
closure is motivational because the story is no longer about resistance. It is about leadership. India is not just navigating the storm, it is setting the course. Together with Japan and with partners across continents, India is proving that prosperity can be built on trust, not intimidation. That global order can be shaped by cooperation, not coercion, and that the Asian century is not a dream deferred, but a reality in the making. The world is counting on India, and India is ready.
that was absolutely freaking amazing. Um, yeah, these countries are not going to just sit around and make everything do what's in the best interest of the U.S. every single time at the detriment of their own nations, their own countries. They're not just going to bend the knee. No, if we continue to play the bully, to make try to force people to do what we want, then we're gonna end up very quickly isolated and alone. And what used to be the strongest economy and the strongest military will then be a sad, tragic story of another empire falling. Instead, we can adjust to this power shift that's going on. We can understand, you know what? This world isn't bad. We're not gonna be at the top much longer, right? See the bigger picture. This world is shifting. It's turning into a more cooperative world where it's not just kind of one or two superpowers, but and so shift with it. Adjust with that is adjusting. It's surviving. It's surviving. What is it? What I'm looking for the word that starts with the E. Evolution. Either get with it or get left behind. That's all we have. If you guys enjoy, don't forget to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all.